Well, let's talk about something that is near and dear to our hearts. But with that being said, Nathan, her dad, you have to leave, man.
Viewer discretion is advised.
You don't want to hear
parental advisory for this video.
For the parentals.
For parentals.
You do not want to hear it. Just leave. Kelly, if you're watching, give it a like. You can watch, I guess. That'd be weird, but yeah.
I'm sure you don't want to know.
Yep. My parents don't watch this channel, so we're good. We're gonna walk down this trail and we're gonna give them a solid, like, I don't know, 5 seconds of opportunity to click off. If not, you've been warned.
Watch all of our other videos. Not this one.
On Mississippi. So, because we're not monetized, we don't have to really worry about what we say, but we kind of do. So, we're going to be referencing the act of which ye makes the van rock. Yes, that act. When we got into van life, I honestly was very curious on how that affects, how living van life affects your, it's a funny term for
your
amorous activities.
Physical activities in the nighttime.
Your nighttime physical activities. Your NPAs. Your NPAs. There we go.
Ooh, great new term.
We coined it. Van Life NPAs. What is it? If you don't know what I'm referencing, you're not old enough to know. So
we're gonna give you an additional 3 seconds to click off this video.
Yep. All right, you're still here. So when we started this, I was genuinely curious. I'm gonna sit down on this rock because walking in with this camera is scary. We're going to be talking about these, and I do want to let you know towards the end of the video, the middle of this video, we're going to give you some tips because yeah, there's definitely some tips. We're going to talk about it a little bit first. So, the number one thing that I was concerned about was your NPAs. And I looked all over the place and there was some stuff here or there, but there wasn't a lot of information on it, and it was genuinely curious because I'm moving into the van with my wife. So what's it change? How does it work? Is it completely wrong to do it in the city? I mean, these are all questions that I didn't know the answers to, but I do now. So that's what we're talking about today. And I hope this at least sets some of your guys' mind at ease. And I'll give you the quick spoiler is, honestly, it doesn't change a ton. I mean, it's a little different, but not really. I'm not an NPA prude. I'm a little bit more adventurous. Alicia, on the other hand, is not quite as adventurous as I am. So,
NPA prude over here.
That's me.
So, you get to hear both sides of it.
What is the biggest change for NPAs when living van life?
So, the biggest change for the NPAs is you can't be as physically active during your NPA activities when you're in the city. So we work 9 to 5. Alicia works 9 to 5. So we're in a city 90% of our time, probably. And you can't be rocking the van when you're trying to be stealthy. Does that mean that you can't have an NPA when you're in the city? Definitely not. That is not the case whatsoever. I want you to take a second, if you're truly concerned about this. I want you to go sit down on a park bench. Put a, I don't know, quarter on the ground, or something of interest on the ground, and see how many people actually look at it. You're going to be absolutely blown away by the fact that nobody looks at it. Regardless of what, it could be a water bottle on the ground, they won't even look at it, they'll just step around it. People are completely absorbed into themselves and have no concept of what's going on around them, that the likelihood of them even noticing that A, you're sleeping in your van, or B, your van's moving just a little bit, they're not going to know. So that's probably the biggest thing that's changed, is it's not as active as it was before. So another thing going to that less active when you're in the city, you can't be loud. So if you are a screamer, yeah, you're going to have to get away from that because you're screaming in the back of a sketchy white van. I mean, that's a good way to get the cops called on you. So there's that too. If you're loud or you like to be loud, unfortunately, that's not going to happen in the city. You can be as loud as you want and rock the van as much as you want in the woods. So To be quite honest with you, as far as personal experience goes, that's what happens. When we're in the city and the mood hits us, yeah, it's a lot quieter, it's a little bit more tame. That's the case. And then in the woods, it's definitely much more active because we can be and because we've been waiting for that opportunity. Yeah, and it's made it a lot more fun too, just because of that. You know, waiting makes it more entertaining.
Too many days in the darkness.
So NPAs.
Without a glimpse of
I am an NPA prude. So NPA and van life, totally terrifying to me. Of course, NPAs should never be done in your van. And we never have because, yeah, NPAs are illegal in a car. However, if I can get over it, I think you can too.
Going into it, how did you feel?
So going into it, I did not feel comfortable at all. I didn't want to do it. Did not. I had this feeling that even though everything we had read, even while sleeping, we were going to get knocks on the windows all the time. Like we were going to get the cops called on us all the time. And it's been a year, that hasn't happened. And we've been really lucky. And so I think it just took time for me to realize this is also something I need. So I'm gonna have to do it eventually. So I got used to it and I got less scared of what was gonna happen.
And how'd you get used to it?
Time. I don't think there's a better answer. I think slowly taking the steps towards feeling comfortable with it, not diving right into it, but also I think time was the biggest part. I think there was a good month where it was not as plentiful as we would have probably liked it to be. But that's what I needed was time. So now I don't get nervous. We did a lot of tests. This is actually tip number 1. We did a lot of tests on how loud we can talk and not be heard outside the van. We also did tests to see how much movement we can do and not have it be super obvious outside the van. So me knowing exactly how much our van was moving or how loud it was outside our van, super helpful.
Basically, for any of you guys wondering, those tests weren't like super, scientific tests. Basically, it consisted of Alicia sitting in the van, talking, not changing the volume of her talking, me shutting the door, me opening the door, and then repeating when she was louder. The movement test was much easier because you could have the door open and she just jumped around in the van, and then I walked around the van and looked, and then I switched places with her. It was actually really, really helpful. We ended up doing that in the first van, I think within the first couple days of moving into it. And this van, we did it within the first week of moving into it because it's a different van. We don't know.
Tip number 2. You know what helps? Pulling the e-brake. Your van ain't moving that much when you got the e-brake pulled. To be honest, in the first van, I'm not sure that we ever had the e-brake on. Just in general in life. It moved a lot because recently, literally last week, I went to go park it and it was on a hill and I didn't know where the e-brake was. So find out where your e-brake is. It will help you with everyday life as well.
Tip number 3, if you can, lay parallel with your tires, not perpendicular. Okay? 90% of beds, made up statistic, 90% of beds in van life are perpendicular. So that means that they cross it. So they're widthwise. Don't lay widthwise when you are doing your NPAs. Lay lengthwise, that's kind of hard to say, lay lengthwise up the van, because any motion transferred forward and back is going to be nerfed by your e-brake, not by your shocks. If you're right and left widthwise, your shocks are actually absorbing that, and you rock the van. So, yeah, just reorient yourself, and it actually makes a huge difference.
Okay, so we're about to share something extremely personable. No, extremely personal. Okay, so we're about to... Oh my God.
Can you tell that this is going to be fun? Yeah.
Okay, so we're about to share something that is extremely personal. Most people don't tend to talk about their NPAs, but, you know, love is kind of one of the things that we said we were going to focus on in this channel. Relationships in general. So, Kodiak and I not only do NPAs, but we also have a once a month NPA challenge, which is just something to get me outside of my comfortableness with NPAs. As I already said, I'm a prude. So NPAs were a bit more of a struggle. So we created this challenge where we do something more adventurous, and that helped with van life because it got me out of my comfort zone, and the more out of your comfort zone you are, the more comfortable you feel. So it did help with van life, just helped with our relationship in general. So if you're struggling to get over that specifically with your partner, then maybe try a once a month challenge. Maybe try a 30-day challenge. You never know. There's a lot of them out there.
We'll be down below. I'll take over. So basically we've done 2 30-day challenges, failed at both of them, mind you. One of them was just to have NPA for 30 days straight. Yeah, that's phenomenally hard. And then the other one was like specific things to do, you know, NPA in the shower, NPA walking your dog, NPA, I don't know. It'll be linked. The link will be below. Both of those were really, really helpful. The challenge that she's referring to, the once a month, is basically just to step outside of your comfort zone. So try a new NPA position, try a new NPA location, or, you know, stuff like that to try to help break her out of her bubble. And I am going to say this with tongue in cheek because there has been times that has broken me out of my bubble, and there is no way I was expecting to be the one to be broken out of the bubble. So there's that.
Additional comment. There is an entire video of this on BuzzFeed where they did a 30-day challenge, and pretty much all the couples failed because it's really hard. So
It wasn't just us.
it's really hard. That's just, oh my goodness, that was terrible. Yeah, so it's not just you. If you fail at it, you did it. Like, you tried. You did something new. So never feel bad about something like that. It's always supposed to be fun. So never beat yourself up about anything with NPAs.
Yes, I have to jump up on my bed. I do.
All the time.
Do you?
You're a van lifer, probably.
Probably.
Unless you got one of those fancy slider beds.
That always stays in bed mode.
Fancy.
You're not fooling us. We know it's always in bed mode.
So basically, to wrap up everything about the NPAs, not a lot of people talk about it. It's hard to find information about it. You have to use the dark web, like Reddit, in order to find answers to your questions.
And they're not just right there either. You have to go like way down the rabbit hole before people start talking about stuff like that.
So we thought we would just briefly cover it. Of course, we already told you that if you have any additional questions, you can always comment.
Or if you feel awkward about it, you can message us too.
Yeah.
You can learn, live, love abroad on Instagram. You can message either of us personally on our Facebooks. Feel free. Feel free. We're pretty open.
Try not to be lewd in your comment, but otherwise,
Woo!
give it a go. So like, subscribe, of course, comment.
Yep.
But don't do anything you don't want to, but we would surely appreciate it. And we will see you in the next video.
Yep. We're getting to travels. Searchable content and then travels. We're getting to travels.
We're getting there.
Yep.
Slowly but surely.